For our Ag Weekly segment, we're talking about bat safety this week.
Emily Griffin tells us how to protect our spooky flying friends this time of year.
When you think of Halloween, you may think of bats. Spooky to some, but otherwise helpless during this time of year, which is why the days leading up to Halloween are recognized as Bat Week by the Department of Environmental Conservation. Many bats are battening down the hatches in caves across the state for hibernation. The DEC asks that you do not disturb them. If you wake them, they'll expel crucial energy and are less likely to make it through the winter on their fat reserves. Some species of bats have also become critically endangered in the state thanks to a lethal fungus called white nose syndrome. Both the Indiana bat and the northern long-eared bat are now endangered. As the state looks to protect these creatures, they urge you not to disturb their hibernation. This Halloween season, as we celebrate our winged friends, let's remember to respect them as well. Emily Griffin, 7 News.